Board members, I would be looking for a motion to enter back into open session at 8:15.
So moved, Mr. Supervisor.
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Tominello with support by Mr. Caprow to enter back into open session. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes. Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Caprow?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Swikowski?
Yes.
Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkest?
Yes. All right. Next is our agenda item E3. We've presented the board and Mrs. Hardcastle with a packet of information. And at this time, we would ask Mrs. Hardcastle and/or her representation to come to the podium and if they have any answer to the allegation or the claim or information that they'd like to present to the board.
Good evening, board members. We're here now to discuss my employment. It's my understanding. For those who don't know me, my name's Erin Hardcastle. My family and I are long-term residents of the township and own multiple properties here in the township. I've worked in the building department since 2006. During that time, I was assigned ordinance, building, zoning, plan review, housing board, and many other duties under the now retired building official, B.J. Parak. My immediate supervisor had nothing but positive feedback about my performance during that time. Since being contacted by the FBI and meeting with them as an informant, I became a target of the supervisor and his office. 6 months into a high-risk pregnancy, and after being in the field all day doing inspections, Supervisor Verkest kept me at the township 2.5 hours afterwards, causing a medical emergency to me and my unborn daughter. This all because of an apparent vendetta against Mr. Parak and what was publicly called a witch hunt by one of the board members here this evening. I was directed to file a workman's comp claim as my medical emergency was directly related to your actions. Being kept specifically late, denied the opportunity to have food or water, and being put into a condition that landed me into the hospital and jeopardized my child. Since being off disabled, I apologize. That interrogation on June 12th is also the subject of a current lawsuit against Mr. Verkest, as you're aware. Since being off disabled, Mr. Verkest has used his position to harass me. He's tried to refuse to accept medical documentation. He's tried to claim he's not received it, claimed I was on an unapproved leave of absence because my disability claim was pending, and threatened to terminate me. He continues to abuse his authority by pushing this agenda item forward this evening in attempts to terminate me despite being notified by the union that I am in good standing. Supervisor Verkest even asked for permission to contact my doctor directly to discuss my personal medical condition, once again abusing his authority and undermining my right to privacy regarding my medical conditions. He's referenced a township policy requiring doctor signatures, not computer for disability notes, which were provided to him, and used that policy to threaten to terminate me. During this time that I have been off, I've undergone 5 in and outpatient surgical procedures. I am and continue to be disabled at this time. As the primary caregiver in earner in our household, since my husband was disabled in a crane wreck in 2012, this time being off work created a great hardship for our family. I notified the union of my condition and my inability to address outstanding dues based on the situation. When I did receive disability income at the end of March, I went in for spinal surgery on April 1st and was unable to address anything while trying to recover, particularly since my disability notes had already been submitted to the township. During the time I've been disabled, my home and cell number and home address have not changed. Contacts were sent to the email that I have at the township, which I had no access to. I was not actively checking my personal email account for township correspondence and had a number of extenuating circumstances, including my medical condition, that delayed me making my outstanding dues whole with the union. The contact information has since been updated. I'm again a member in good standing, and I'm here before you this evening to make you aware of what has happened in my time off. I'm currently recovering and anticipate a possible return to work beginning July if I'm cleared by my doctor. My union dues are current, and the union has withdrawn their notification that my dues were outstanding. My disability requirements have been met, and my leave has been approved. I trust the board will acknowledge my extenuating circumstances and take no action to terminate my employment or prevent my return to work, as I have been on an approved leave of absence, and my union dues have been paid, and they have withdrawn their notification that Mr. Verkast has used to bring this matter before the board this evening. Thank you very much.
Okay, are there any questions the board has from Mrs. Hardcastle? So are you acknowledging that you were not a member in good standing as of April 29, 2014?
I'm acknowledging that my union dues are paid.
Okay. We received notification that said that you no longer were a member in good standing as of April 29, 2014. I'm asking, could you answer for me, do you agree or disagree with that statement?
I would agree with the statement that the union has withdrawn that notification and given you written notice of such.
Okay, and I understand that, and I heard that in your testimony. I'm trying to ascertain whether or not you agree with the statement that you were not a member in good standing as of April 29, 2014.
No, I do not. I was off disabled.
So you believe you were a member in good standing as of April 29, 2014?
I am. I do believe that, and I was very surprised to learn that the union would take action because of unpaid dues without having direct contact with me. But those dues have been paid, the union is made whole, and they've withdrawn their notification.
So you're saying the union did not contact you regarding your unpaid dues?
I was not given notice that you would have an opportunity to retaliate and proceed against me in this manner, no.
Well, that really wasn't the question. What I was asking was, did the union notify you that you were in arrears in your dues and you could be terminated?
The union notified me that I was in arrears, and I notified the union that I did not have any income because I went for 7-8 months without any income while the workman's comp claim is being determined. And when the disability money came, I went in for surgery a week later and was unable to address these things. I do not feel that I was ever a member not in good standing, as I have maintained since 2006 during my employment, but I have been off suffering from a number of medical conditions that have prevented me from addressing these issues until now.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
Well, I think you need to just mention the contract, what the contract says, because somebody listening to this is gonna wonder what's going on.
Okay,
And you know what? It's pretty clear.
okay. I'm not sure really what, are you saying
Well,
we should read Article 7 out loud? Is
No,
that?
no, I'm just, as a board member who hasn't been involved in this, and I'm just reading this today, the contract is pretty clear. It says that the board shall terminate if somebody that was not in good standing. There's no choice from this board per the union contract. And it doesn't matter whether I like or dislike that language. The language is plain and simple. And the simple fact is that, unfortunately, the union sent us a letter and said, you are not in good standing, and the union exercised this provision in the contract, not this board. And the union exercised their right to say that this board shall terminate the employee. You know, just so everybody understands that, you know.
If I may, the union is here with me this evening in support of the withdrawal of their notification. And as I indicated, I am and continue to be, at this point, a member in good standing.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Is there any other testimony or defense or evidence that you wish to present to the board?
Well, Mr. Verkest, you were sent a letter by the union stating that they were withdrawing their notification. It's my understanding that the union is just as surprised as I am that this item wasn't removed from the agenda. And again, they're here with me this evening in support of me. And you have received, if the other board members have not, I apologize, a notice of withdrawal of that notification.
We were given that in our packet, just so you know.
Okay, well, maybe for the record, board members, the document that you were presented, that was also presented to Mrs. Hardcastle, the union, is comprised of a few pages. I'll walk through that briefly. The document 1 is the notice we received Tuesday, April 29, from the union. It says, "This letter serves as notice that Erin Hardcastle is no longer a member in good standing. We have sent her multiple requests for dues and feel that we have given her more than ample opportunity to address the situation. We realize that this has the potential for management to exercise their rights under Article 7, Section 2. The document labeled number 2 is Article 7 of the current collective bargaining agreement. Section 2 of Article 7, which was made reference to in their letter, says, "Employees who fail to remain in good standing in the union shall be terminated within 30 days following receipt by the township of notice from the union that a member of this bargaining unit is in violation of this article." Document 3A is the cover sheet, or basically the email that has the attachment that we sent. And that attachment is a letter. It was sent by email to Mrs. Hardcastle. It was mailed by first-class mail, and it was also mailed through certified mail. And that letter reads, "Dear Mrs. Hardcastle Malhouse, on April 29, 2014, we were notified by AFSCME Local 1103.14 of Council 25 that you are no longer a member in good standing with the union. Article 7, Section 2 of the current collective bargaining agreement states, employees who fail to remain in good standing in the union shall be terminated within 30 days following receipt by the township of notice from the union that a member of this bargaining unit is in violation of this article. I am requesting that you respond with any information which would prove that you were a member in good standing with the union as of April 29, 2014. Failure to prove that you were a member in good standing with the union as of April 29, 2014 will result in your immediate termination. Please respond by noon on Wednesday, May 14, 2014. Additionally, document 4 is the next document in the packet. It is our notification to Mrs. Hardcastle that, in fact, this matter was going to be before the Board of Trustees today, and gives her the opportunity to have it in open or closed session. Document 5 is an email which was from the union to Mrs. Hardcastle outlining the amount of dues that she owed, to the union, as well as the receipt from May 7th at 12:46 p.m. where she'd paid the treasurer's office for her dues. And then finally, documents 6A and B. 6A is the email that included the attachment letter, which is item 6B that Mrs. Hardcastle referenced, from Kelly Gemmel, chapter chair, addressed to me, which states, "I am sending this letter to inform you that Ms. Hardcastle is now a member in good standing with regard to her union dues, and withdrawing our notification dated April 29, 2014, that she was not. I assume this notification will facilitate the removal of this matter from the board's agenda this Monday, May 12, 2014, but I would appreciate confirmation of such." So those are the documents or the chain of events that addresses this matter. So at some point, as a decision-making body. We have to take this matter under consideration, but before we do, I want to make sure that you don't have any additional statement or evidence or any information to present to the board before the board takes action.
If I may, Board, my name is Norb Leonard. I'm attorney for Ms. Hardcastle. I know you're asking for additional evidence. I'm quite frankly a little bit incredulous that it is even before the board, this issue, in view of what you've marked as Exhibit 6B in your packet. The union has withdrawn their notification dated April 29, and the union is considering her a member in good standing. And if that's the heart of the issue, it's as if she were in good standing all along in view of the withdrawal from the union. And, you know, the timing of this is upsetting. I mean, obviously there is litigation ongoing, but even more importantly, she remains totally disabled from working. So I would implore you at this point to give great consideration to terminating her employment at this point in time. To me, it seems, if that were to occur, it would seem retaliatory and wholly inappropriate based on the union's withdrawal of their notification that she was not in good standing, and in view of the good cause for her inability to promptly pay those dues, which she has rectified and that has been acknowledged by the union. I just want to make that comment.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. My name's Gordon Hardcastle, I'm her father. I've watched this whole thing uncover over the months, and I've watched her struggle with not receiving any monies or anything from her benefits to live day to day. And I, for a family member, have had to help support her and find it truly almost diabolical, Mr. Verkest, that you seem to be taking this as a personal vendetta. And I'm saying that looking right at you for a reason. Now, the union may have sent you something saying we want something done about this, but they also they don't say what type of notification or what kind of altered approaches they have at resolving it. And they obviously, by these letters, are saying they have resolved it. So I have a real problem with that. I have a problem with the way that she was kept on the night in question with with my upcoming birth of my granddaughter. And truly, if it had gotten any worse from your actions in the private sector, that would be called harassment. And I hope the board is all well aware of all this, because this is not something that's very funny. And the fact that you think you can keep somebody that's been on the field for a full day, who's telling you that they don't feel well and they need to go home, and to keep her there for 3 hours drilling her is unbelievable to me. So you are on my target as far as someone who doesn't know how to run a business. And quite frankly, as somebody owning 10, 11 properties in this township, have about had it with you. Now, this whole thing can go away either way. As a board, you have an idea or an understanding of what's been going on here as far as her termination with the issue around the union dues. Whether the union got in touch with her properly or gave her time to respond based on her condition at the time. There's nothing coming from her doctor saying she was able to deal with it. So to me, this is what I call premature and very bad timing. From the idea of doing something like this while she's still off and still on medical leave. So that's my statement to you, board members. If you want to talk to me, I'll gladly answer your questions, but I think this is a witch hunt.
Okay. Is there any other testimony that you'd like to offer to the board at this time, evidence or information?
No, Board, I'm remiss that this is before you this evening. I thank you for your consideration. I hope that you would consider the totality of the situation Just picture yourself or a family member of yours in a short 6-month period, being in and out of the hospital, and as I indicated, undergoing 5 in and outpatient medical procedures or surgical procedures, which has been my life since I have been off, unfortunately. And again, as Mr. Leonard said, as my father said, the notification of me being or failing to be in good standing is moot at this point, because I am. I feel that I was all along. I never had any intention of sharping my union dues. I've continued to provide documentation about my medical condition and my anticipated return to work date, and I respectfully ask that the board does not take action as it appears Mr. Verkast is aiming for. Regardless of contract language, there is discretionary authority that you board members have. When you see an injustice, you have the ability to vote and effectively right or wrong. And in this case, with the pending lawsuit and my ongoing disability, I truly feel heartfelt in saying that terminating me this evening would be a great wrong. Thank you very much, board members.
All right, is there any discussion, board members? Is there a motion this evening?
If I may, I see a representative from her local here. If I could ask you a question?
Kelly Gemmell, Chapter Chair, AFSCME 1103.14.
I just have a question. The contention was that she said she felt she was a member in good standing as of April 29th. When the union sent the letter, she was not a member in good standing, correct?
She came in and
I'm
paid
not
the-
asking when she paid her dues. I'm saying April 29th
On
when you
April
sent the letter.
29th, when I sent that letter, I felt she was a member not in good standing.
That was the union's position, that at that date she was
Yes.
not a member in good standing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Is there a motion this evening?
I guess I would ask our attorney for some direction. Should we choose to go down the path of termination, what would be the appropriate wording for a motion?
The appropriate wording would be for the motion to indicate, it'd be a motion to terminate the employee Aaron Hardcastle pursuant to Article 7, Section 2 of the collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME Local 1103.14.
Now, I think maybe one of the questions or concerns is the letter that was drafted to give Mrs. Hardcastle the opportunity to reply, offered that she could offer a response up to noon on Wednesday, May 14 of 2014. So does that need to be incorporated in that motion?
Yes, I would make it effective May 14, 2014.
I'll make a motion to direct the township supervisor to terminate Ms. Erin Hardcastle per Article 7, Section 2 of the collective bargaining agreement effective afternoon, May 14th, 2014, unless she, unless she presents evidence contrary to her not being a member in good standing as of April 29th, 2014.
Okay? There's a motion. Is there support?
Support.
There's a motion with support to terminate Mrs. Erin Hardcastle pursuant, or to direct the supervisor to terminate Mrs. Erin Hardcastle pursuant to Article 7, Section 2, effective noon, Wednesday, May 14, 2014, unless she provides proof by then that she was a member in good standing, correct?
Well, I think we've already proven that,
As
there-
of April
wait,
20,
wait,
remember,
April 29.
as of April 20.
Yeah, as of April 29, 2014.
I'm taking this action tonight because I don't see any, as of April 29th, that there, that she was a member, so what's gonna change it? Are you good with that? I'm confused about this, leaving it sort of,
Well,
well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I mean, I don't wanna, either it is or it isn't, do you know what I mean?
you certainly think the evidence you have in front of you suggests
Okay,
that she was not, however, she was
Okay.
given until May 14th. So an effective date of May 14th would be, I guess, consistent with what you already have, but I agree, on the other hand, it does not appear that there is any evidence forthcoming.
okay, so we have to give her the opportunity, which I agree with, to, if she has additional evidence to present, then that's fine, and we might be revisiting this at another board meeting, but for right now, that will be where it stands.
Okay.
And can I also, I know in government and in these motions, I hate to assume anything, but if there's additional evidence, I know that we do have a meeting on the 20th. If in fact, there is additional evidence, I believe
What
we're doing
meeting?
a trustee meeting.
Oh,
There's additional
yep.
evidence,
Special
you know,
meeting,
I think
yep.
we can add that to the agenda item, and, you know, if we need to revisit this, then at that point, we will do that. Is that reasonable?
I'm not gonna
No, that's fine, I'm
pontificate any
just-
hypotheticals at this point. I mean, really, we're, as a
understand.
deliberating, action-taking body, we've got a motion with support, and we need to take action on that motion.
I understand.
Further discussion, board? Hearing none, we'll open up the floor for public comment.
Okay, Linda Karcheski, resident. I have, what I understand is she's been on a leave. She has got no money because workman comp takes forever to pay. She's a breadwinner of the family. She didn't pay her union dues because she had no money because she's on job-related to be off. So it all goes back to money that she doesn't have to pay these union dues. Did any of yous ever bother, as her boss, did you ever call her and ask her how she's doing, why she hasn't paid these union dues? Has anybody contacted her? Did anybody find out about her family? Did they need help in any way? It seems to me that the reason she didn't pay the union dues is because she didn't have the money, and she didn't have the money because workman's comp didn't pay. Now, if I was off for a number of months, we wouldn't have any money either. And being on a workman's comp, I know how long it takes to pay. When she found out you sent her the letter, if I'm not mistaken, she said she was in a hospital having an operation. So how many days did you give her to respond? And did you ever find out? I mean, the union is now saying that she was in good standing of that date. So why are we even going through this if the union is saying, as of April 30th, if I got the dates right, I might be wrong with the date, she's in good standing. So this shouldn't even be brought up any longer unless there's another reason you want to get rid of her. And for being a resident, that's what it sounds to me like. There's another agenda why you want to get rid of her. If the union is backing her up now and saying she was in good standing, and she is in good standing because her union dues are paid, I don't know. I don't understand why you was even bringing this up. The union representative right here said she's in good standing. Why are you guys bringing this up? To me, it sounds like somebody wants to get rid of her. Is there another reason why?
Thank you. Seeing no other public comment, we'll close the floor for public comment and move back to board comment. Are there any comments, board members?
Could you reread the motion?
It was a motion to terminate Aaron
To direct the
To
supervisor.
direct the supervisor to terminate Aaron Hardcastle effective May 14th,
Was-
2000, afternoon.
But it was pursuant to Article 7, Section 2.
Make it
Right.
4 p.m. Is that
Are you
okay?
proposing
if
an
you say,
amendment?
if you say in the afternoon, that could be noon, 1, 3, 5, you know, I don't know what time
Okay.
that is, and I mean, you make 4 o'clock, think you should make a time.
Is that a proposed amendment?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Witt?
That's
Are you
fine.
okay with 4 PM? All right, so to restate the motion is to direct the supervisor to terminate Mrs. Erin Hardcastle pursuant to Article 7, Section 2, effective 4 PM, Wednesday, May 14, 2014, unless Mrs. Hardcastle presents evidence which proves that she was a member in good standing with the union as of April 29, 2014. Okay, further discussion? Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
No.
Mr. Caprell,
Yes.
Mr. Swakowski,
No.
Mr. Tominello,
No.
Mr. Verkest.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Jack, why don't you take the honors?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, move to adjourn my last meeting.
Larry?
All right.
Second is. Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Swakowski with support by Mr. Tominello to adjourn at 8:46. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Board.